When the British Army under General Allenby came to Jerusalem, Allenby was instructed not to destroy the city because of its religious significance. And so Allenby was trying to figure out, how do I take this city without destroying it? Allenby was a Christian, and he was reading his Bible, and I don't know if I can find it, but let's see if I can. Where is it? He was reading his Bible, and he read Isaiah 31 verse 5 that says, like birds flying about, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. And he read that and he thought, birds flying about will defend Jerusalem. And Allenby had this new weapon called an airplane that had never been used before in war. And so Allenby printed up thousands of flyers that said in Arabic, surrender the city, Allenby. But in Arabic, it looked like it read, surrender the city, the prophet. And he sent his planes up over Jerusalem. The people in Jerusalem had never seen a plane before. It looked like birds in the air. And they dropped these leaflets, these flyers that say in Arabic, surrender the city, signed the prophet. And the Arabs laid down their weapons and walked out of the city. He conquered the city without firing a shot. There's a famous picture of Allenby walking into the city through the Joppa gate, walking into the city. God just delivered the city into his hands, and the British captured Jerusalem, and they captured the land of Israel, and the British favored the establishment of a Jewish state in the land of Israel. You have the Balfour Declaration, supporting the idea of a Jewish state in the land of Israel. 3 years after World War II ended, 1948, the modern state of Israel was established. Fulfilling Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones came back to life again after not existing as a nation for almost 2,000 years. Israel was reborn. A remarkable miracle. It's never happened to any other nation or any other people. Those two world wars were the catalyst that led to the rebirth of Israel. And Jesus said, this will be the sign that you're coming to the end of the age, when you see world wars happening. And he said that these events will be like contractions, like birth pains. There'll be worldwide conflicts. Since the First and Second World War, worldwide conflict has become normal, hasn't it? Now, when there's a war somewhere in the world, a whole coalition of nations get involved in the conflict, directly or indirectly. The current war between Russia and Ukraine is just the latest example of this. Many, many nations are involved in that war on both sides. Regional wars are like a thing of the past almost now. Every conflict becomes a global conflict now. For 2,000 years, you had only regional wars. Beginning in the 20th century, now you've got global conflicts. And now they're very common. Jesus said another sign of the end of the age will be famines. Famines. Again, these things will be like birth pains, so we should expect famines to increase in the last days with greater intensity, greater frequency, greater lengths of time. You know, enough food is produced in the world to feed the entire world population. However, 10% of the world's population suffers from hunger. In the United States, currently 34 million people have food insecurity, including 9 million children. Richest nation in the world. We've got 34 million people with food insecurity. Famine and pestilences often accompany war. Russia and Ukraine, to use that example again, together Russia and Ukraine produce 30% of the world's supply of grain. So the war will potentially affect the global food supply and may affect it for years to come. Now, let me tell you something that might have a greater effect on you or cause greater concern for you than a grain shortage. In Brazil, drought and extreme cold weather has affected the coffee harvest this year. Coffee farmers have harvested 30% less coffee beans this year. So there may be a scarcity of coffee in the near future, and coffee prices are expected to increase as the supply decreases. Have you noticed? I noticed this, that coffee companies have made their coffee bags smaller. Now when you go to the store and buy a pound of coffee, it's not a pound of coffee anymore. It's 12 ounces of coffee. We're paying more for less coffee. Now, famine most often refers to a scarcity of food, but it can refer to a scarcity of any goods. And you have seen the empty shelves in the grocery stores over the last year or two. You have tried to purchase things and order things online that are out of stock indefinitely. That's never happened to us before in the United States. We've never experienced shortages. We've never seen things like this before. And Jesus warned us that this would occur in the final days of this age.